Okay, again, I said that the attendance is compulsory, so I will take your attendance based on the WebEx login. Okay, and again, please write your full name in order the Allah. So please write your full name. Okay, so that I can detect your full name. Easier for the attendance to be recorded. Okay, all right. So let me share the slide.
Assalamualaikum, Doctor.
Yeah, Waalaikumsalam. Okay, so those who just joined, Assalamualaikum and good afternoon. Okay, those who just joined. All right, so basically this is the module, the first module, or maybe the second module. The first is about library. Okay, in the morning. I hope that full attendance, okay, all of you in the morning just now. Okay, and this is the first module for our research methodology when you are doing research, which is a literature review. One of the most important part, and I believe that you are doing literature review now. Okay, right? So while you are doing that, please take note, okay, so that you are in the correct path. Okay, and again, please consult your supervisor. Okay, especially those who first year student, you have to regularly meet your supervisor. Okay, now online meeting, all right. In order for you to determine the correct path, so that is the most important. Because when you are doing literature review, it's difficult. Literature review is a difficult part. It's not easy part. Literature review is very difficult because you need critical thinking. Okay, for the literature review. All right. Okay. Let me. Okay. So again, I repeat, this is research methodology course for literature review module. Okay, UKEP0010. Okay, for this session. Before that, usually when I conduct this physically, I always want to get to know to students. Okay, so online is a bit difficult. Okay, I can see some faces here. Okay, even. Alright. Let me, because we have time. All right. So I can see. Okay. Legion. Okay, is it your correct name, Legion? Akram Hussein. Okay. Eugene Frazier. Yeah. Maybe some of you I already meet before. Okay. All right. Sabah. Some of you just joined. Okay, so we're waiting for all of you. Okay, together.
Excuse me, doctor.
Yeah, yes.
You want to also see my face?
What's your name?
Akram.
Akram. Which one?
You want to see my face or only just for me?
Yeah, it's good if I can see your faces for the first introduction. Okay, and after that, maybe while doing this, we can off the you can off the camera after that.
Okay.
Yes, I am Ali.
Hi,
Ali Ahmed.
Eugene. Yeah, okay. So it's good to know all of you.
Ali. Ali Ahmed.
Yeah, Ali. Okay. So Ali, you are here or you?
لا, I am in Saudi Arabia.
Okay. All right. So, wow, I can see Faisal, Ala Nazi. Seems like I'm in Arabia, Arab Saudi Arabia. Faisal. Okay, Faisal, where are you? Are you mute?
Yeah, no, yes, I'm open the video.
Sorry, it was you.
Yes, you
How
mute.
are you?
So where are you, Faisal?
Saudi Arabia, north of Saudi Arabia.
Okay, so Saudi Arabia. All right. So Hazwan, okay, I can see the rest.
Got the Hazwan here.
Hazwan. Okay, apa khabar Hazwan?
Sihat. Alhamdulillah.
Okay, and we also have the rest of you, Calvin, okay, John Elvin, wow. Eugene Frazier seems like I think I quite usual the name Eugene Frazier, but don't see the face. And if you can turn on the camera for a while, So I can see your faces, okay? Just for a while. Okay? If you have difficulties in internet, then you can off the camera later on. Okay? So I can see your faces. Because some of you, I know that you registered as a remote student, so you're not been in UTM, by the way. Okay?
Yeah.
Yeah. So, well, we don't know when you will come to UTM in this current situation.
ان شاء الله في البانديميك ان شاء الله.
Okay, good. Okay. Okay, then we have what else? Salah. Salah, you where are you? Salah, are you in Malaysia or where are you?
Oh, I'm from United Arab Emirates.
Oh, okay. All right. All right. Okay. Yang lain semua tak nak on switch on the camera. I can see Ko Pan Seng. Quite familiar the name. Ko Pan Seng.
Yes, doctor. I'm
Okay.
your student before.
That's why I said that Ko Pan Seng. I'm familiar with the name. Okay, all right. So let's start with the literature review. Very interesting. This is literature review is one of the interesting part, and I believe that you are doing now. So let's learn together about literature review. Okay, let me share the slide again. Okay.
Excuse me, doctor, before you start.
Yeah.
Sorry. You are code for registration.
Sorry, I can't hear you.
Is it like you are code for registration?
It's not.
This is the
It's not clear.
how can I register?
Oh, how can you register? No, you mean the attendance for today?
Yes.
Okay. I will record the attendance based on my WebEx personal room.
Okay.
Yeah, it's automatically detect the attendance. Okay. All right. Don't worry about that. All right. So this is basically.
Sorry, doctor.
Yeah.
Sorry, doctor. The attendance. Have you registered? Or?
I will record the attendance based on the WebEx. If you join the attendance hours, I can see the detail of the attendance from the WebEx.
Okay.
Okay. So,
Thank you.
Just share on the
Alright.
chat.
Sorry, doctor, how we can get the record? Just to share record.
after this, I will pass to the office and they will distribute through email.
Okay, thank you.
Okay. All right. But please stay tuned until we finish the slide. Okay. Later, if you want to refer for the slide, then you can refer that. Okay. So basically, we'll start with the thesis outline. So this is just for your information. Usually, for the thesis, we have 5 chapters. Okay, 5 chapters that you have to complete for the thesis. This is outline for the thesis. Introduction. We have introduction. We will have the literature review. Is 1 chapter for the literature review. Okay, the one that we will go through today. Okay, and we have research methodology. We also have the research methodology class. Okay, maybe this week also part of the module. We will have results and discussions and conclusions and recommendation. Okay, so basically we will have another module as well in order to complete your thesis. But literature review and research methodology are main part of the thesis. Okay, that's why you need to understand how you conduct the literature review. And I believe that now you are doing the literature review, and part of them you are actually doing the introduction part. Okay, so research background. Okay, I believe that you're clear with the research background. Before you register as a PhD student or master by research student, you already have the area, the field of the interest of the study that you want to pursue. Okay, so that's basically goes for the research background. You are looking for that. For example, if you are looking for the water treatment, then you will go through the water treatment. Okay, related to electrical engineering. If you're interested in, for example, solar, solar energy, or maybe the smart grid, so you will go the research on the smart grid, for example. So that is research background. You already know that the research area before you register, and then you choose your supervisor. So I believe that already in the past. Okay, so please do write the research background in the introduction chapter. Okay, this is chapter 1. I hope that you can draft the thesis from the earlier, okay, so that you know what actually you are doing. And then the second part is motivation. What motivate you to do that research? Okay, this is the most important, especially when you are doing your defense in semester 3 for PhD student. Okay, during defense, they will ask you what is actually the problem that you're trying to solve. Okay, so the problem must be important. It must be the important problem that you're trying to solve, not because the supervisor asks you, okay, you do this and that. That's the reason why students have to have passion when you are doing that. Is actually motivate yourself. Okay, so research motivation. After you clear with the research motivation, then you go for problem statement. Find the problem statement. The problem statement must be a current problem. That's the reason why during the literature review, when you are doing basically looking for the articles, 30% must be very current journal. Okay, 30% out of the thesis. Okay, if you have 100 review papers, then 30% must be current papers. And if you are looking for the problem statement, must be in the past 3 years articles that you are looking for. Okay, this is compulsory. This is the most important point that you need to take note. Okay, current problem. Okay, which is in the past 3 years. Previously, in the past 5 years, but currently we actually go for the in the past 3 years to show that the problem is new and the problem is very important. Okay, not just stated the problem. Okay, the problem must be significant and it's very important to solve the problem. Okay, so that's why you are doing this research. Okay, and once you clear the research background, motivation, problem statement, then you will derive the objective. You see the flow? Okay, you can see the flow, right? Okay, once you clear with the problem statement, based on that, you will derive the objective to develop the model, okay, to test, to do analysis and so forth. It must be verb, the writing must be correct. Okay, so research objective, scope of the study, and contribution. Contribution could be later, it's fine. Okay, but the objective comes from the problem statement. The problem statements comes from motivation and the so forth. Motivation comes from the research background. Okay, so this is the introduction part. I believe that you have done this. Okay, as draft. Okay, in draft. Okay, then comes to literature review. Okay, literature review basically is about previous research. Okay, this one is just examples. In this case, because my field is control system, so I just put previous research on control system, for example. Okay, why I want to focus on control system, for example, and then please take note this research gap. This is very very important. Okay, all panel will always ask for the research gap. When you are doing literature review, you will read all the articles, the previous research article that related to what you actually will be doing. Okay, then based on this previous research, okay, on whatever area that you are looking for, then you will find the research gap. Research gap is the new things, okay, that the previous problem doesn't solve. Then you trying to solve that. That is research gap. Okay, so we will actually discuss in detail on part 1 and 2 in this class today. The rest of the class will be continued by our colleague, okay, for the research methodology, data collection, data analysis, and so forth. Okay, for the first 2 today is very important because you are actually, for some of you maybe in the first semester, some of you maybe in the second semester. Okay, all right. This is about knowledge. Before we start with the literature review. Okay, the new knowledge and the present knowledge, which is the state of the art. Are you doing this? I hope that you have done this. For those who already semester 2, I hope that you have done this. Okay, present knowledge, which is state of the art. Okay, you need to study, you need to do critical analysis, okay, about the area, about the topic that you actually trying to do. Okay, the state of the art. Okay, so then you trying to find the gap with the new knowledge. This is what we're trying to do, and this is not easier basically. Okay, this is not easier. This will take time and must be in the correct way. Okay, so in order to find the gap, okay, this is what we call it boundary of knowledge. Okay, and the research is to break that boundary. Okay, you need to define the present knowledge, which is the state of the art that you find from the journal paper, from the article, and the new knowledge that you will find out. Okay, so how to break the boundary? First, you must get near to the boundary. Okay, in order to break the boundary, you need to get near to the boundary. Then look for gaps along the boundary. So this is what actually we are looking for, which needs our critical thinking from our reading. Okay, all the journal papers. So for that, we need literature review. Okay, so once you clear with this, then you know to start with the articles that you are looking for. Must be the related articles. This is literature review. You know what are the articles that you are looking for. Okay, you are doing literature review now. Now in the first semester and second semester, you are still doing the literature review. And even I'll show you the journal papers. Okay, you can write the review paper at the end of the second semester because you have done the literature review part. Basically, once you finish the second semester, basically, you can write the literature review chapter 2. Okay, so that you can graduate on top because you know the timeline. Okay, because literature review part is critical. Okay, it's very critical. It's good for you once you finish the literature review, you can publish the review paper. And the one that you publish, the review paper, can be located in your thesis, chapter 2. That's what my student doing. Okay, so in the for the literature review part, is basically from the journal paper, the review paper that we already published. Okay, we publish that paper and then we put that in our chapters. Okay, so that's good basically. It's already peer reviewed for your thesis, chapter 2. Okay, so what is literature review? It's activity to search and to study the information found in the literature, in the previous research, related to your selected area of study. So first, you clear with the area of your study. If you are electrical, so electrical is very big. Okay, what you are looking for? You are looking for the smart grid. We are looking for the battery. Basically, battery is also one of the important research nowadays. Okay, and then what? So for control system, maybe crane application. Okay, what else you are looking for? Okay, some of you may be interested on the water treatment. Okay, for example. All right. So this is the activity that you are doing now. Okay, to search and to study the information. This is study the information means that study critically. Okay, in order to find the gap. Okay, you need to study the information found in the literature. Okay, that's why we said that our research is scientific research because what we actually talk is about fact. It's about fact. Why it's about fact? It's about fact that you obtain from the journal paper. And again, when you are about to find the problem statement, I will recommend you to go for the Q1, Q2 journal. Okay, so that the problem that you're trying to highlight is basically reliable. The informations are reliable. No questions more from the panel because the journals that you trying to relate is Q1, Q2 paper. Okay, it's a very good high citation journal. Okay, so that's why I said that in the first starting now, you are looking for, you are doing a literature review, please go for the current journal and the very good journal. Okay, I think you know how to check the Q ranking of the paper from the clavariate analysis, JC ranking. Okay, I hope that you can, you all know how to do this. Okay, to describe what is literature review, again, describe. Okay, to summarize and to evaluate and analyze the critical points of current knowledge. So this information that you describe, you summarize, can be in your journal paper, which is a review paper. You can make it in table. That's why I said that when you actually read the journal, you have to jot down. Okay, you have to make in table. Okay, to describe, to summarize, to evaluate, and analyze the critical point of current knowledge. I always mention about current knowledge. Okay, if you register in 2020, mean the latest must be 2017. Okay, when you're looking for the problem statement. Okay, in the past 3 years, that is the best. Okay, in order to find this problem statement. okay, from the articles. So you are looking for what are the established ideas, what are the strengths, weaknesses, and limitation. This is what you are doing now. Okay, you read the papers and then you are looking for this evidence. Okay, all right. So this is literature review. So why literature review is important? Okay, why we need literature review? Again, I mentioned this now. Okay, our research is scientific research. Our problem is based on fact, based on the previous work, and the previous work basically that's why it's called scientific. They are doing by experimental. They are doing the simulation, but all of them are actually cited based on the fact, based on the previous article. To position the research at the boundary of knowledge. Okay, why we need literature review, or why literature review is important. The second point must be highlighted to ensure that same work is not repeated. Okay, please be aware with this. Okay, to ensure that same work is not repeated, so not duplicated. You probably claim this is new for you, but you miss the citation. That's why we say that we need a current citation. We really need the current articles in order to ensure that this is your work. Okay, this is my work. Okay, to ensure that same work is not repeated. So that is important of the literature review and critical thinking of the literature review, the past previous work. Okay, we're trying to avoid this. The second point is very important. We have to ensure that same word is not repeated, so that we claim this is my work, this is our work. Okay, so in order to claim that, you have to publish. You have to publish. So that is to secure your contribution. Okay, you have to first publish. Okay, probably if you have a little result from the current work, you can publish into conference first, just to secure your work. After that, you can go for the journal. Okay, so a third one become a theoretical base for the research. Okay, in academic matter, our research, we need the theoretical base. Okay, that is basically, it's not the same as you are working as engineer. Okay, you just solve the problem. But we, in our case, academician, we need the theoretical base for our research. That helps to determine the direction of your research. Okay, so can pinpoint to the research problem, okay, research gap, and discard irrelevant work. Okay, so this is basically theoretical things. All right, so who performed the literature review is not important, because now we are students, so we are actually students, provide a solid background for a research investigation. But not only students are performing the literature review, we also have general public, they are also doing the literature review in their own way. Professional, for example, scholars, okay, academician, writer of research paper, and so forth. Okay, we are now students to provide a solid background for our research investigation. Okay. All right. So what is literature for research? It's a collection of all scholarly writing on a topic. So it's journal paper, it's article. Okay. So these materials are peer reviewed. Okay, what means by peer review? The journal that you cited basically already peer reviewed. Say for example, transaction journal is already peer reviewed. It's a bit difficult to publish in transaction journal. It took about 1 year or 2 years to publish in transaction. Okay, we also have IEEE transaction. Okay, so we have many more. Okay, Elsevier, for example. Okay, so that is a peer reviewed journal. So you can rely the information published in a peer reviewed journal. Okay, sources of the material you can find from books. Okay, books also can be your reference, because books always give you the basic information, basic knowledge. In journal paper, they always publish the latest, the current work only. But if you, for example, you are looking for the AI, artificial intelligence, you can go to the books for the detail. Because in journal paper, they are not trying to explain something in the books which you can refer to. We just find something that we contribute. Okay, the new things that we contribute in our research. Okay, that's why if you want to go for the basic information, you can go to the books. Articles in journals is one of the sources of the material. Conference proceeding, patents as well, and thesis, other people's work, thesis or dissertation. Okay, so other sources like you can also refer to website, but I would advise you, okay, to go for more articles in journals. Okay, compared to conference proceeding, patents is fine. Okay, or thesis dissertation. Okay, trying to reduce, okay, your reference in conference journal. Okay, because conference we cannot really rely on that paper. Okay, so it's good to have a Q1. As again, I mentioned Q1, Q2 journal for especially when you are about to derive the problem statement before you can design the objective, the research objective. Okay, that's why I mentioned here, priority to use peer-reviewed articles. Okay, Wikipedia, basically we're not using this Wikipedia in our research work. Okay, especially PhD and master by research. Okay, so we actually tend to avoid having this. If you want to get just information, just get idea, but not to refer to your thesis is fine. Just to get rough idea. Okay, this is references. Okay, as I can show you here, this is the best. Okay, one of the students, okay, they are actually not published, okay, for his thesis. Okay, so as I can mention just now, the sources, okay, the resources of the journal. In this case, you see that the red color, about 85% are from journal paper, which is very good. The thesis is very good. Okay, 85% from the journal paper, 6% from the book. Okay, conference is only 8% and another one is 1%. Okay, so he plotted this to show to the panel, okay, that the reference he is using is basically 85% is journal paper. Okay, so as you can see the reference for the year, you see that 158 is about from 2015 to 2020. This is the very current articles that they referred to. Okay, reference publication years to show that the research is basically based on the current knowledge. That's what I want to highlight here. Okay, so that you can follow the same trend. Okay, this is to show to the panels that the research is basically based on the current knowledge, because of the articles that they refer to is basically is the very current article. He actually graduated in 2020, year 2020. So as you can see, he registered 3 years before. Okay, 3 years before means that 2017, and then he managed to graduate in 2020. Okay, as you can see, this is the reference publication year, and then he's doing the robotic manipulator. Okay, 60% discuss about this and 35% is about sliding mode control. He's doing the sliding mode controller. Okay, and then his system is about robotics manipulator. Okay, so this is basically to show to the panels, okay, how he's doing this research. Okay, based on this reference is more on journal papers, and I hope that you can have the same trend whereby you are actually stressed on the journals compared to conference paper. Okay, because journals are more reliable. Okay, and again, as you can see here, 158, okay, is about 5 years in the past. All right, so objective of the literature review for research work, again, okay, to establish the relevancy, okay, to show the research fit into the existing body of knowledge, depends on the body of knowledge that you refer to. Okay, learning curve on the subject, okay, to understand previous theories, okay, to understand the previous theories or concept and to reach the boundary of knowledge. This is about to find the problem. If you are looking for the algorithm, you basically to reach the research gap on the previous algorithm they are using and trying to find some solution based on the previous problem. That's why I say that in this one must be very current knowledge, because you are about to find the problem statement, whereby based on problem statement you will derive the objective. Okay, based on that. Okay, identifying gaps in previous research is to highlight flaws in the previous research, to highlight the disadvantage or the limitation in the previous research. Okay, as you can see from here. Okay, to ensure the research hasn't been done before. This is again very important. You must make sure that this is your work, doesn't been done before. This one must be clear. This year, for the first year, you have to make sure that the problem that you're trying to solve hasn't been done before. So how you want to answer that? Of course, your supervisor cannot help you. So who will help you? Your literature. Your literature review will help you to ensure the research hasn't been done before. Okay, based on that particular area. Okay, so this is the importance of the literature review. It will help you to solve many things. It will help you mention that to ensure this is your work, not the previous work. I already investigate the previous work. The last they are doing is 2019. You can show that during your defense, during the viva, because you have the fact, the article that you review for. And the article must be reliable. That's why I said that please do focus on Q1, Q2 while you are doing the problem statement and finding the research objective. Okay, to ensure that the idea that the proposed is established. Okay, all right. To ensure the research have been done before and to define the hypothesis. Okay, based on the problem statement, then you will write the hypothesis. Refining, refocusing on even changing the topic. Okay, we say, for example, you are actually first semester and second semester, you are about to find the topic, about to confirm the topic. You don't have to worry about the topic of the research yet. Okay, because you are actually looking for the path. You are looking for the path. So you are not actually not to determine the topic yet. To determine the topic at the end of the first year is fine. Okay, because you will define in third semester. So on that particular time, you will write the topic. Because once you write the topic, means that you have determined the research objective. Because the keyword must be there. Okay, the keyword in the topic must be there. Keyword showing that the most important term that you actually focus. That's why you put in the topic. You put in the topic. Like just now, sliding mode control. Sliding mode control is the most important control algorithm that they're trying to solve. So it will be in the topic. Okay, robotics. Okay, robotic is one of the application they're trying to solve. It will be in the topic. Okay, so that's why I said that now is not about to determine the topic. It's about to determine the problem statement and the research objective. Okay, that is two important point that you need to determine nowadays. You are looking at what you are doing now, literature review. Okay, so direction of the literature review. Okay, more than the search for information. Okay, it's not only for the information. Literature review is not only looking for the information. Okay, it's not also just a descriptive list. Okay, usually student, okay, even including my student, okay, some of my student, they come to me just to show the list of the references that they are doing. I'm not actually want to see the reference. I want to hear your description, your summary from the literature review. That's basically our supervisors aim for. They're actually not trying to, okay, I have 50 lists of the reference. No, we are not looking for that. Okay, it's good to have 50 references now for one semester, for example. But can you describe, can you summarize, okay, the flow of the idea? Okay, the flow of the knowledge that you actually go through. That is the most important point. Okay, so that's why I said critical thinking, critical information that you need to find from the article. Okay, so the literature review must be guided. Again, far from here, Saudi Arabia, just now Faisal, for example, and the other one, okay, also in other country, the literature review must be guided. Remember to have the meeting with your supervisor. The first semester is critical. You have to have weekly meeting, regular weekly meeting with your supervisor, or at least probably 2 weeks, in 2 weeks. Okay, but usually every week for the very student, okay, very first semester student, every week regular meeting in order to define the problem statement and objective. Because when you are doing the literature review, you are about to get the information, and there's lots of information, especially first semester. You are new, looking for something, and when you read paper, everything you don't understand. So that's usual. Okay, that's usual. When you read the paper, oh, come on, I don't understand all these mathematical things. It's okay. That's usual. Okay, so that's why I said that once you find the literature, the article, okay, try to summarize the papers and then discuss with your supervisor. Okay, the literature review must be guided to define what is expected from the research. Okay, to come up with the hypothesis. That's why I said that you need to discuss, because we need to come up with the hypothesis. Okay, hypothesis means that you know what is basically the method that you're going to use, okay, in order to solve the problem. So that comes with the hypothesis. To clear the problem, you clear with the problem, and you know what the method that you're going to use based on that problem. Okay, then you can write the hypothesis. If not, then you don't have the hypothesis, yet to have the hypothesis. Okay, once you have that, then to write research objective. Okay, to define the problem or issue and so forth. So these are the critical part. I believe maybe some of you is still looking for this, or maybe still thinking on the problem even. Okay, all right. So you can ask later. Okay, once we finish the session. All right. So I will go through quite brief, okay, for the like this one sources, maybe the quality as I mentioned just now. Okay, prefer to the journal articles and go for the very good article, the reliable article such as Q1, Q2. Not all 100 must be come from Q1, Q2. As I mentioned just now, this is the year or the semester you are looking for the problem statement in order to design the objective. So that's why I said that journal article must be reliable. That's why I asked you to go for Q1, Q2 journal for that. Okay, the rest then you can refer to other journals article. Okay, in order to get to know the current knowledge for that. Okay, so relevance related to the research work, latest sources, older sources must be of high importance only. Okay, older sources can be, but must be of high importance. Like just now, slide remote control. Refer to those journal in 2000, for example. But at that time, that is the first SMC has been developed. Means that high important journal. Even though it's already 2000 or maybe 1990s, it's fine. Okay, but then apart from that journal, he has 2018, 2019 that showing that the current knowledge related to that SMC. Okay, understand for that? Okay, all the sources could be must be of high importance only. Okay, and also substantive finding. Okay, type of sources, again, you can refer to books, okay, journals, conference, and so forth. Okay, I don't want to go to detail for this. Okay, you can also go for direct search for publisher of books. Okay, this one, again, I believe that you know how to get these resources. Okay, then go, okay, just for your information, okay, because you need to download some papers, basically. You already registered as a UTM student, and I believe that you have the AC account, ACID account. All of you have the account?
Yes, doctor, we do.
Yeah, it's important to have the account, because you can basically, if you have the account, you can download the papers and you can go to the papers that UTM already cited, sign direct, for example, IEEE. Okay, so once you want to go to that papers, you need to log into AC account, ACID, even though you are in your country. Okay, you can log in using AC account, because you are paid for that. So you please make sure that you use that. Okay, so need to subscribe database. Okay, it's okay. This one. Okay, search technique. This one basically for search technique. You can basically copy paste the article's name. Okay, the name of the name of the article. You can also copy and paste the ISSN. Okay, in the Scopus, for example, there are many methods. And you can go for the name of the authors. You can go for the title of the paper, and also for the ISSN. Okay, just copy and then you can get the paper, the list of the paper. So that is the search technique. So I believe that all of you knows the search technique, okay, already. Okay, all right. Pattern search.
Doctor, DOI as well.
Sorry,
We can search by DOI as well.
what you can search for what?
DOI.
Oh yeah, you can also search for DOI. Yes, correct. You can also search for DOI. So many methods, basically you can search for that. Those who already have their, their favorite name, for example, the author's name, you can just go to refer to the author's name because you want to know the latest or the current publication of that authors, for example. So many methods. That's why I said that. Okay, so pattern search basically very rare we refer to pattern, but some of us probably need to refer to the pattern to show that this is my copyright, for example. Okay, and then you need to check to the patterns. Okay, either you claim that it's your first or maybe already registered before. Okay, that's one of the search that you can go through. My PIO, for example, in Malaysia, or you can refer to USPTO, US Patent and Trademark Office, before you claim that is your patent or copyright. Okay, this is standard documents, okay, that you can go through, right? Okay, journal articles, okay. So for high impact journals, okay, journals that are being referred frequently by means of citation. Okay, so I believe that you have list of journals, which is very good citation, okay, that you can go through, right? Information in it are accurate and reliable. That's again, I repeat, to put it here, information in the high impact journals are accurate, okay, and reliable. So that's the reason why I ask you for the first year of study, while you're doing the literature review and looking for the problem statement, please go to high impact journals. Okay, content reviewed by expert peers. That's why it's reliable. Okay, peer reviews. Examples are IEEE transaction. Okay, if you said that, okay, you are the three journals that you actually referred to in 2019, for example, in order to look for the problem statement is from IEEE transaction. So that's truly reliable. Okay, you have no worries about the problems that you're looking for. Okay, titles from Elsevier, okay, really Diamond Press, Nature, Science, and so. Just to highlight again, okay, since we are doing literature review, UTM only recognize WOS standard, okay, not the FICO standard. Okay, so once you refer to the Q quotile of the journal, please go to the library analysis by WOS, Web of Science index only. Okay, because previous student they are referred to SIMAGO index, which is not referred by UTM. Okay, for SIMAGO index, basically for the scopus also they cite it as a Q paper. Okay, for UTM we just focus on we just refer to WOS. Please take note for this. Okay, if you want to check for the papers, just go for the for WOS website. Okay. Okay, types of articles, original research article, okay, content based on primary data from author's experiment, own work, okay, or very specific, audience can be limited. Okay, if you are doing software or hardware, okay, software and hardware, I don't know now, okay, because of the COVID-19, it's a bit difficult for you to go to the lab and to set up the experiment, for example. Okay, it depends on the type of the research. Okay, it depends on the type of research. And probably if you can set up your own hardware in your place, that will be fine. Okay, but it depends on your discussion with your supervisor. Okay, because some of you is working and then you have the benefit of the facility, for example, you can have your own setup. Okay, but you need to discuss with your supervisor. But for that limitation also, we can go for the simulation. Okay, we can also go for simulation. For PhD, okay, PhD master by research, for example, need to take note, for the simulation, the comprehensive work must be done, especially when you are trying to prove your algorithm, because you don't have the hardware. Okay, you don't have the experiment. Okay, to prove your algorithm, for example. So you need to have more work, more comprehensive work in order to verify your algorithm. Okay, that's basically the difference. Okay, so that's why you need to have more comparison compared to if you are doing hardware implementation. You might have proposed one algorithm, for example, okay, MPC, model predictive control, who doing that, okay, model predictive control, and then you just compare the MPC that you already run in your experiment. So that would be kind enough, that would be good enough. But if you are not doing the experimental, okay, you not integrate the system, you have to do many comparison. MPC, probably you compare with the neural network and any other algorithm in order to verify your work. So that's basically the difference between if you are doing the experiment and you are not doing the experiment. Okay, more work need to be done. Okay. All right. So if you have questions, later we can share the question and answer for that. Okay. Again, indexing for database, okay, Google Scholars, okay, allow user to search for digital or physical copies of articles, whether online or in libraries. It's a bit difficult to go to the library now. Okay, so everything will be online. Okay, so it index full text journal articles, technical report also can be suitable for that. Depends, but depends on situation. Okay, all right. Scopus also owned by Elsevier. Okay, online subscription not free. Okay, but UTM have a subscription on Scopus, so that's why I said that just now. You use the AC account in order to go for that Scopus journal. Also IEEE transaction and so forth. One that citation by UTM. Okay. So we have areas like scientific, medical, technical, humanities and social science. Now these areas are multidisciplinaries. Even we are doing engineering, okay, method, but we also doing the artificial intelligence, for example. Okay, we also go for the medical, for the biomedical, okay, medical engineering. Okay, any of you are doing biomedical here? Biomedical related work. Okay, because we also have the faculty, the school of biomedicals. All right, but some of you, we also have some of the lecturers that are doing the biomedical as well. Okay, this one, Web of Science, okay, WOS, previously known as a Web of Knowledge, indexing maintained by Clarivate Analytics. Okay, previously by Thomson Reuters. Okay, previously you checked from Thomson Reuters. Now this is about business as well. Okay, indexing maintained by Clarivate Analytics. So the website have been changed. You can refer to the Clarivate Analytics for the ranking of the journals. Web of Science. Okay, so this one is basically quite selective. Okay, if you refer to this WOS, mention Q3, but if you go to Simago, probably mention Q1. So that's why I said that you need to refer to WOS. The one that acceptable by UTM is only given by WOS. So once you check the journal, must refer to this Clarivate analytics. Okay. Right.
Right, teacher.
Yeah. So if paper is frequently cited, it reflects the value and quality of the research work. Okay, previously, before we have quota, Q1, Q2, Q3, and Q4, we actually go for the impact factor. If you still remember that previously we go just for impact factor. We don't have the Q. Okay. And then as you can see, the IEEE transaction, for example, the impact factor is a bit low. Okay, you can see some of them maybe 0.1 only. But to publish in IEEE transaction is very difficult. Okay, it's very difficult. For engineering, basically it's hard to get the high impact factor. Okay, because you can see that medical, for example, you can have 100 impact factor. Okay, because of people are doing that, research is very important nowadays. For example, the medical one, the biomedical one. So that's how it plays with the numbers. Okay, like our field, engineering, electrical engineering field is already established for a long time ago. Okay, so if you look at the even 0.1 impact factor, it was listed under Q1 journal. Okay, so now we are not see the impact factor, we just go for the Q. Okay, even though 0.1, but it's under Q1, means that is high impact journal. Okay, so that's how you go for that. Okay, so always mention about Q of the journal, Q1, Q2, Q3, and Q4. How do you know if the source is important? Okay, by studying the number of sites it's accumulate. You can go to the Clarivate Analytics. Okay, they will explain you very well how they calculate the ranking, how they calculate the impact factor, and so forth. If you go to the website, okay, try to cite from journal with good impact factor. Long time ago, okay, we go for impact factor, but now we go for the quota. Okay, quota of the journal. So this is how. Okay, 2017 impact factor of journal X. Okay, B over A. You can see that B is number of sites in 2017. Okay, two article published in 2015, 2016. Then we counted the number of sites in 2017, published before that. Okay, so impact factor for 2017 is B, number of sites, over A, number of article published in 2015 to 2016, in 2 years. Okay, so that's come the impact factor 2.50, 250 over 100. So if you have more number of sites, then you have higher impact factor. So that's why some of the journals, Scopus, they are looking for the Scopus ranking and so forth. They play around with the citers. They cited each other. Okay, that is one of the business method. They cited each other, then they apply for Scopus, then they will get the Scopus in the for their journal. Okay, for their journal. But then later it can be detected. It can be detected. So then go out from the Scopus ranking. So that's how. Okay, very important. They need to take care of the citation, not self-citation. Okay, many of them are doing self-citation in order to be listed under Scopus journal. Okay, this is kind of business matter. Okay, basically, but this is how they calculate the impact factor of the journals. Okay, so journal quota Q within a subject category. There are 100 journals having their impact factor computed by the Journal Citation Reports, JCR. Okay, previously published by Thomson Reuters. Now published by, just now we mentioned, okay, here, okay, Clarivate Analytics. Even though the website already changed to Clarivate Analytics. Any of you already go to this website?
Actually, not yet. Not yet.
Oh, not yet. Okay, all right.
Yes, I did.
Okay, that's good. You actually need to go to this website because now we just go for WOS and UTM just recognize WOS index, not the one with the SIMAGO. Last time we actually go for both. We go for WOS, we also go for the SIMAGO. But then UTM have decided, okay, we just count for WOS index, not for the SIMAGO. If you claim that your journal is Q1 under SIMAGO, that will not be counted. Okay, they will check under Web of Science. Some of the SIMAGO journal is not even listed under WOS. Okay, even they define as a Q1 under SIMAGO index. So that's why you have to be careful. Okay, you have to be careful with index. Okay, make sure that you go for this Clarivate Analytics website in order to secure, okay, to ensure that your Q is correct. Okay, before you take decision to publish to that particular journal, okay, you need to know the journal first. So that's why usually what I did is basically if I'm not really familiar with the name of the journal, okay, name of the journal, then I will just copy paste the name of the journal, go to Clarivate Analytics, just copy paste the journal name, and then they will go for the journal website, journal ranking and so forth. If not listed, then will be not in the data. That's it. Okay. Right, so journal within a subject category, there are 100 journals having the impact factor computed by the Journal Citation Reports, okay, published by the Clarivate Analytics. Okay, the top 20 is considered as Q1. This is how they consider as ranking. Okay, the second 25 considered as a Q2 and so forth. Okay, they have. If you go to that website, some of last time I think you need to log in if you want to go to detail about the ranking. Okay, but if you just want to know about the journal, then it's okay. You just copy paste the journal's name and then you can directly get the information. So this is just to know the journal's name, which is Q1, because they have the list. Okay, they will have the list every year. They will publish. Okay, they will update the list about Q1, Q2, and so on. Okay. A journal can be in different queue for different subject category because it can be classified into several categories. Okay, just like control engineering practice, control engineering practice, we also have the. I think usually control engineering practice always have engineering only. But if you go for the water journal, okay, journal of water, for example, we will have the engineering, we will have the category of chemical, we have the category of environmental. So that's meant by subject category. So means that if you want to know that the journal that you want to publish, you need to go to engineering, the one that related to your field, the area of study. Okay, because even though journal of water, for example, is Q1, but it depends on the subject category. Okay, depends on the subject category. Probably for engineering Q1, but for chemical Q2, for example. For environmental, probably Q3. Depends on the subject category. So that's what I mean by a journal can be in different queue for different subject category. So we actually looking for the subject category. Okay, subject category, because it can be classified into several categories. So when you go for the Clarion Analytics, okay, you can go to the bottom. Okay, click on the rank. Okay, you can see the subject category as well. Okay, so this is for the simulation modeling practice and theory. Okay, simulation modeling practice and theory is one of the good journals. Okay, but always change. Sometimes Q1, Q2, Q3 depends on the subject categories. Okay, so impact factor is 1.05 okay, in 2013. Okay, but it will be changed okay, by years, and you can see the current year. Okay, when you go for the Clarion analysis. Okay, category rank. Okay, computer science. We also have interdisciplinary applications. Okay, we can also publish in computer science. Okay, because we are engineering involved in the computer science and so forth. We can go for software engineering as well. Depends on your contribution. That's why you need to understand which basically your strength. For your paper. When you're writing the paper, you need to define what is the strength of the paper. Is it the strength of the paper is about the application or maybe about the algorithm that you propose? So that's tailored you to submit to that particular journal. Okay, if the application is the main contribution, then if you submit to the algorithm journal that concentrate on the algorithm, it will be totally rejected. So that's why you need to define the strength of the journal, your contribution. Okay. All right. So performing literature review again. This is general. You are now, I don't know which one in the tunnel you are. Okay. Are you already find the gaps? Or maybe you still in general. Okay. You are still here. Or already in specific. You already know the specific area that you're looking for. Or then you already narrowing to the focus area. So you are now here. And finally you find the gap. So where you are, okay, from here. You know yourself, where you are. Is it general, specific, focus, or already find the gap? If already find the gap, then Alhamdulillah, is good. Okay, means that you're clear with what you are doing. You already find the gap. You are almost about the end of the literature review part. If you already find the gap. Okay, I mentioned again, if you already find the gap, the research gap, you are almost at the end of the literature review part. Because you already break the boundary. Okay? So I hope that you can take your time a bit, think where you are from this tunnel. Okay, so this is example, okay, general. If you are looking for the solar photovoltaic PV system, okay, you know that, oh, I'm going to do this PV system. Okay, PV system is a big focus, is application. So many of the researchers looking for this, but depends on what actually the field. Okay, they want to focus on this PV system. Okay, specific. Okay, say for example, I hope that you can take note. Okay, general, what you are actually looking for, what application you are doing. Okay, if you say that smart grid, then you can jot down here smart grid system. Go specific. Okay, go specific what you are actually doing for the smart grid or PV system in this case. You are doing modeling of PV cell using electrical equivalent circuit. This is specific, but not more specific. You see that you have to narrow until you get the research gap. Okay, now you say that solar photovoltaic PV system, then specific you go for modeling. We have many research on this PV system. Some of them go for modeling, some of them go to the other, okay, monitoring and so forth. Okay, so in this case, you go to specific modeling, and more specific, we go to 2-diode model of PV cell. You see, this comes from the articles that you review. Okay, this comes from the article, not from your supervisor. Okay, this comes from the articles that you review. So you are naturally go towards this until you can focus. Okay, until you can derive your own objective. You see the flow of the idea. Okay, more specific diode model, focus effect of temperature on current unbalance in 2-diode model. This is your focus. Or you can say this is my scope of study. Okay, beyond this, I'm not going to handle that matter. This is my focus, this is my scope of my study for 3 years PhD or for 2 years, depends on what you are doing. Okay, either master or PhD. So this focus, this level of research need to be guided. So who will guide you? Your supervisor. Your supervisor will say that, okay, enough for your master level by research. You need to focus only one matter. Okay, so for PhD, said that, oh, it's not enough. You need to go to other one, to the other. You need to extend a bit. Okay, your scope of the research in order to balance the PhD level. So that's why I said that you need your supervisor to guide you, so that you are in correct path. Okay, that's why I said that this is important. This semester is very important. The first semester, the second semester are very important for you to discuss with your supervisor to make sure that your research is correct, your path is correct. The scope of the study is enough for the PhD level or for master level. For master, for example, not too big the focus until, oh, this is PhD level. That's why you cannot be done for 2 years, for example. That's why I said that you need to discuss with your supervisor. Okay, focus effect of the temperature on current unbalance in 2-diode model, and then focus again numerical solution for 2-diode model. Okay, numerical solution means that simulation. So the gap is using AI technique. This one, after reading many articles related to this field, PV system, and so forth. You can see the narrowing this. That's why we said this tunnel. Okay, the gap is until you can find the gap using AI, artificial intelligence technique, to estimate the current unbalance in 2-diode model for PV. So this is your aim. Okay, this is your research gap. Previous work, they are not using AI technique at that particular time. Nowadays, of course, we have many methods in AI using for this solution for PV system. You can find the papers related to PV system that focusing on AI nowadays. But at this time, for example, when I write this, okay, there's none of the research using artificial intelligence technique. Most of them use classical technique. Okay, most of them using classical technique. Okay, so that's the reason we're taking advantage of the AI, artificial intelligence. So you're going to use this to estimate the current unbalance in 2-diode model for PV cell. Now you are starting about to use the toolbox because you know what you're going to do. Okay, know what you're going to do. So they say that you're clear now. So in order to pass this stage, you need the literature review. Okay, you need literature review in order to pass this stage and to make sure that you are in a correct path. Okay, all right. So this is one of the review papers. As I said that once you finish the literature review part, please write papers. Okay, please start writing. Okay, so in this case is review papers. If you're academician, for example, it's good for you to write review papers because of the citation. People's lots looking for the review papers, because review papers is one of the easier for us to find the references. Okay, so that's why we cited review. We read review papers. Cell modeling and model parameters estimation techniques for photovoltaic simulator application, a review. Okay, this is applied energy review 1 paper. Okay, normally review paper cites large number of articles in references. So that's the reason I ask you also, okay, when you are doing literature review now, look for review papers as well, because it will help you to find another references. Easily you can get the latest references from the review paper, just to make sure that you find the current review papers. So if you find the current review paper, say for example in 2020, now you just registered, right? So find the review paper in 2020, year 2020, then you can find lots of related papers that you actually looking for. So it will help you as well. Okay, so that's the reason why review paper is very important. This another examples of review paper. State of the art, already have the state of the art, from history you can find, the impacts of smart grid in the power systems operation and expansion planning. Those who are looking for the smart grid, so you can refer to the review paper on this, for example, state of the art, impacts of smart grid in the power systems operation and expansion planning. Okay, so you see that you can find another related references that you're looking for, from the review paper, just to make sure that you find the latest review paper. Then when you read the review papers, you can learn how to write the review paper journal, whereby you can publish the review paper journal at the end of the year 1 of your study. Because you have done the literature review part, you have done the critical analysis part, you have summarized all the tables that related to your research work. So it's time for you to publish. Get the review paper, one published in year 1, for example. Okay, that's why I advise you, once you do the literature review, please, be serious, trying to understand, trying to tabulate everything, make a chart, for example, summary of that, and then you can publish your own paper based on that previous work, but you write with your own flow of work. Okay, so that's how we write the review paper. Okay, this is another one, desalination and water treatment, from my previous student, from the first year study, once they finish the work, and then they go for because they are actually looking for the control system design for the for the wastewater treatment. At that time, control system development is new for the water treatment. Most of them go to the material. They are not tend to go to the control system, because most of the people working on working with the water is basically from the environmental people, from the chemical people, which focus more on the material. Environment focus on the experimental. But our case, since we are electrical engineering, we focus on the automation. We go for the automation. So that's one of the research area that we find out from the water treatment. Not many go for the control system. So we actually investigate the control system development for the water treatment system. So that comes with the review paper. Following control strategy for submerged membrane bioreactor filtration process is water treatment using aeration airflow, backwash and relaxation operation, a review. So this is the second chapter of this student. Okay, that's why I said that this is the second chapter. So you actually do one for two things. One you can publish, the other one is for your chapter 2 in your literature review. Okay, so easier, right? Okay, so you can try yourself. Okay, you can try yourself. Okay, once you're doing this in 1 year of study, okay, please try to publish. Please try to publish because you already have all the references. Okay, from your information, in order to write a review paper, you need about 100 review references. For the good review papers journals, they need at least minimum 100 references. Minimum 100 references in order to publish for the review paper. Okay, this is at that time is Q1. Q2 journal. Okay, Q2 journal. Okay, another one. Okay, state of the art of membrane flux enhancement in membrane bioreactor. Okay, this one civil and environmental engineering review articles. Okay, also you can see the abstract. Okay, saying about abstract. Okay, I'm not going through detail. Abstract is basically part of our literature review as well because it's introduction part. Okay, so basically introduction part as I mentioned just now. Okay, we have 4 research motivation, we have problem statement, we have the research objective, and then research methodology as well as the results. In this case, the simulation or the experimental result. Okay, this is how you write the abstract. When you need to write the abstract for research, I think at the end of the writing thesis, okay, for the abstract. So it's fine. That one under thesis writing, chapter, I think module, the last module. Okay, under thesis writing. So that will be included abstract as well. So they will, the lecture will explain more on the abstract. So I don't have to go detail for that. I just share with you that our literature review work can be done in you can publish in a review paper. So that's usually I always advise students when I give a talk about literature review, please do publish your paper for the literature review part. Okay, so step in literature review, select the topic and set it in context. Okay, search for the information sources. You have done this, I believe that. Extract the information from sources. Okay, position the information to the research objective. This is not just like that. Okay, this one need critical thinking. Okay, because you need to choose the information. Okay, choose the information or position the information. Use information sources to formulate to argument, analysis, evaluation, and conclusion. Organize and manage the information. If possible, put them in writing. This one means that to make as a review paper. Okay, that's why we put if possible because some students are very smart. Okay, they just do once word. Okay, for example, once done the literature review, they have already flow in the chapter 2, even the first semester or second semester, for example, because you are rushing in the timeline. Okay, so you already have the chapter 2 with you. Later you can get the good flow later, but the draft is already there. Okay, the draft is already in chapter 2. All right, well-structured literature review, okay, characterized by a logical flow of ideas, okay, current and relevant references with consistent, appropriate references style. You need to choose, either you want to use the Harvard format or IEEE format, okay, with the name. Usually easier for you if you are actually, UTM, usually we use number, IEEE, okay, so you use the reference number, okay. Proper use of terminology, give unbiased and comprehensive view of the previous research on the topic. This one usually we do the citing sources style. You can use the Harvard style. Okay, author's date. Okay, for example, Salam Z 2014. Okay, or you can also use number. Number IEEE. Okay, IEEE usually use number. So I would prefer this number, but it depends. Our thesis, yes, I prefer this number for UTM thesis. But for journal paper, you have to follow their format. If they are using the naming, if you are using the author's name, then you have to follow. But for our thesis, you can start from now, you can use number. Okay? I hope that you already have notes with you. Or Mendeley, for example, the database, how to key in the journal papers.
Yeah, we
Yes,
use Mendeley.
Very good. Okay.
also I use mentally.
Okay, or most of you use Mendeley. You can also install using UTM and notes. Okay, so we also have EndNotes also. It depends on either one. Okay, as long as this one is your writing thesis writing or journal paper later on. So I hope that you already have this, and please don't mention that you don't have this EndNote or Mendeley for your references, especially for year one of study, because you will have lots of reference paper. You will have lots of hundreds papers. So it can't be manually key in. Okay, so please do the EndNotes or manually. All right. So this is style of presentation. Okay, for the literature. I'll just show you. I'll just share with you the few examples. If you want the start of the presentation for the literature review, you can basically this one basically for the presentation. Okay, for the presentation later on for defense. Okay, for your defense, you need to make it nice. Okay, not many sentence in your slide. Okay, basically. All right. So author's year. Okay, for example, Singhos W 2009. Contribution, what's the contribution? Provide a review of the first 50 years of input shaping for flexible system. In this case, this paper is talking about input shaping for the flexible system. Input shaping is control methods, it's control algorithm method. Okay, it's a method. Okay, advantage of the input shaping is cheap, as there is no additional sensors. It's a feed forward input shaping. It counters error before occurrence. Okay, this advantage of this method. But what is the disadvantage? Performance is affected by modeling error due to the feed forward. Input shaping is a feed forward. So nowadays they are looking for the feed forward feedback for input shaping. We already have input shaping with the feed forward feedback. So you can define. You see, from this paper, you know the advantage and you know the disadvantage. So this you need to present in the first defense. Okay, so you need to present the first few articles that you think important for you to highlight. Say for example, in third semester, okay, your defense for PhD third semester, but for master by research is second semester. So say for example, in the third semester, you already have 100 references. Okay, we are not expecting that student will present all 100. Okay, please not to do so. Otherwise, you only present one day. Okay, so just present the most important references, maybe 10 out of them. It's very important reference that you want to highlight to the panels until you can come up with the problem statement and also the objective. Just present the important one. And at the end of the slide, please list down all the references that you already have. If you have 100, then list down 100 with the very small font. Okay, so that you're not so many spaces. Okay, all right. So to show to the panel that I have already 100 journal papers. Okay, already reviewed. But the one that you present is only 10 or maybe 15 out of 100. Okay, to show the importance of the words from the journal paper. Okay, so this is one of the style of presentation. Okay, the way you present the literature review. This is example 2. You can also present like this. Okay, you have the title. Okay, the most important information is you need to have the author's name. Okay, the author's name, the title, and also the journal's name. Okay, and the year. Of course, the year is very important. Okay, so to show to the panel. Okay, and remarks. Okay, and under remarks, you can differentiate between advantage and also disadvantage. You can also have the another style of presentation, literature, like this one. Okay, so we have many styles. It depends on you. As long as the most important information is the authors, the year. Okay, index can be put together. Okay, authors, year, and journal. The name of the journal. Okay, the name of the journal. Okay, the authors of the year. But if you can refer to 5, for example, you can go back to at the end of the slide, you can go to detail, for example, if you don't want to go to detail for this. Okay, just mention the name and then the year of the journal. It's fine. Okay, then if the panel requested for the detail, you see you have the numbering, right? 5. Then you can click here link to the number 5 of the reference at the end of the slide. Okay, that is one of the methods that you can refer. Okay, so in this case, they mention the contribution, okay, Facial Measurement Unit, okay, PMU, Based Wide Area Backup Protection Scheme, okay, this is power, related to the power, okay, electrical power, and this is the advantage of this method, PMU, and this is the disadvantage. You see why you list out the advantage and disadvantage from this literature review? Because you want to find the gap. You see, you want to find, you are about to find the research gap. So that's why you're looking for the current knowledge, current journal, 2019, for example, and it's a very high impact journal, okay, proof as a Q1, high impact journal. The contribution of the paper, you read already, 10 of the papers out of 100, you really, really concentrate on, because you're actually looking for the problem that you are looking for, and then you're also looking for the objective, okay, from the research gap that you already find out. So that's why you always find the advantage, disadvantage of the paper. What's the advantage? What is the disadvantage of the paper? Advantage can give you some ideas. Oh, I want to go with this method, because you see there are many people, many researchers are doing this PMU, which shows that this is significant research. For example, I'm going to do this. What is advantage? Will support your research motivation. Advantage of the research, advantage of the method. What is the disadvantage? This will give you some ideas in order for you to highlight the problem. Communication, okay, you can see that here, reliability affected with any communication link delay or failure. This will give you some ideas, okay, in order for you to try to solve the problem. Okay, you need to get the ideas. So that's why I said that advantage and disadvantage you need to highlight from the journal. So these are the critical thing that you try, the flow of the idea from the journal. The journal must be related. The 10 journal that you highlight just now must be related to each other. Okay, for you to get the flow of the ideas. And again, make sure this is very current journal, 2019. In order to show that the problem is new. Okay, the current knowledge. Okay, so I hope that you're clear with that. This is another style of presentation for the literature review. As you can see from here, this one is the first doing the robotics as well. Okay, existing in this research, okay, as far as I can go through this research for the robotics manipulator. In this case, this is a very non-linear system. I believe that either you from electrical, from the control, from the communication, from electronic, you know what terms by non-linear, okay, non-linear system. Okay, usually we are handling with non-linear system. There's no linear system in reality. Okay, so the application usually non-linear. Okay, we are dealing with the non-linear system. So it's difficult to go for the non-linear system, including this robotic manipulator. So these authors basically trying to find the problem in this robotics manipulator application, and they found that not many people go for the control system design. Okay, many of them just go to the other methods to solve for this robotic manipulator. So that's why he is going to go indeed research on the existing control strategies for the robotics manipulator. Okay, so they go for this is come from the journal paper, okay, not simply write like that. So, okay, feed forward control already done, okay, for the robotics manipulator. Feedback control also done, okay, for the robotic manipulator. Okay, so a part of feed forward, we go for feedback control, for example. For feedback control, they have linear and non-linear. As you can see, the linear, under linear PID, the very well known, okay, PID, okay, proportional integral derivative. Okay, as you can see, starting 1995 until 2018, people still doing PID. You see, for any other application, apart from robotics manipulator, we have many more applications, they are still focusing on PID, conventional PID. Okay, other linear method, they go for compute top method, okay, and other one, they go for optimal, Okay, optimal control method, either LQR or LQG or H infinity. Okay, method. And also they categories under nonlinear for the feedback control. So for under nonlinear, they go more. Okay, you see the methods under nonlinear. We have sliding mode, the one that the research focus on, the researcher focus on, the sliding mode control, the backstepping, the model predictive control, adaptive control, and intelligent control. The one of the famous control methods in nowadays, intelligent technique, ANN, fuzzy logic control, okay, and so forth. So this researcher, okay, focusing on this sliding mode control. So you can see the flow of the idea. So the same themes that you will go through basically. You know already the application or the area that you're looking for. What area you are looking for? As I said just now, is it the PV system? Is it the smart grid system? Or maybe robotics application? Okay, so you know already what application, what the area of the interest you're looking for. Now, what to do with the system, with the robotic application, with the PV system? Are you going to the modeling system? Are you going to the control system? And so forth. If you go to the control, so let's go through indeed what is the control strategies that have been done for your system. So this is how, this is the flow of the idea until you can come out, or I'm interested on this sliding mode control. Because you see here, for every method, say for example feed forward, also the latest 2018, PID also 2018, optimal control 2019, as you can see, the non-linear control, some of them 2018, 2020 for the MPC, and also sliding mode control. But from the research, from the article that you have read, okay, you come up with the SMC. Why? So this is very important. That's why I say that from here, from the top to the bottom, it's very important for you to discuss with your supervisor in order to determine which method, okay, which method that you're going to focus on. Not to say that MPC is not important, because you see that in 2020, they already go for this MPC method. Not to say MPC is not important, but why you choose sliding mode control? Okay, so of course from your focus or from your narrowing of the ideas, you find that the SMC is the best controller that you need to define one day. So this is the flow of the idea. I hope that you understand what I'm trying to deliver today. Okay, this is all about your literature review. I hope that you already done this literature review. But just to arrange, to manage the idea. You have many papers. You need to categorize the paper. Okay, it's important for you to understand how to categorize the paper, how to categorize the articles. Okay, until you can come up with your idea. Okay, sliding mode control. So this is just in chart. Okay, in one of the chart. You can also go detail because you know the feed forward. You know that many control techniques. So this is how critical analysis that you need to be done. You see, this is not easy, right? This is not easy. Okay, this is not that easy for you to read the paper, just kind of reading the paper. This is what you need to do. Okay, from here, you make a summary, okay, feed forward, and then control technique, what is the advantage, what is the disadvantage. For feedback, we have many. Just we mentioned here, for feedback just now, we have PID, we have the compute talk, we have LQR, H infinity, and so forth. And then you explain this advantage and the disadvantage. Okay, to make it clear until you can find out, oh, I will choose the SMC. I will choose the SMC. Why? You must have the reason why you choose SMC. Okay, like this student. All right. So you see, this is in a way you can actually manage your idea, the flow of the idea that you want to do for the literature review. See, from here you see summary of literature review, and this is your research guide. Okay, we have many. Okay, feed forward, feedback. Until all of this, you have to list down. You have to list down feed forward, feedback, all the method. You go to the advantage and disadvantage for each of the methods. And then until you can find the research gap. This is the research gap. And once you find the research gap, you can propose the solution. Meaning that you already have the objective. Okay, you can see my slide here. Okay, the gaps I show you, the focus only the position tracking issue. This is the research focus. Remember, we have lots of problems to be solved. If you can read from the papers, they have many problems. We actually not tend to focus all of them. We have only 3 years of study. Remember, okay, we have 3 years for PhD and 2 years for master level. That needs your discussion with the supervisor to determine, okay, to determine what is our focus. Is it fine? My focus is only this and that. Discuss with your supervisor before you go for the objective, so that you are not actually go back to the literature and rewrite the objective. Go back to the literature and rewrite the objective. We don't want that to happen. We want you to go straight forward. Okay, once you find the research gap and then propose solution, then we'll make as your objective number. Okay, so you still focus only the gap. Okay, and the challenge of the research gap actually not from the author's ideas. Okay, remember, this is not our ideas. This is scientific research based on facts. That's why when you defend, okay, you always mention that based on this and that. Not to say, I think this is, no, please not to say that. Okay, during defense, not to say even what I think. Okay, because we are actually doing literature is based on scientific fact, based on article, reliable article. Okay, that's why you mentioned, okay, focus only, the first point, focus only on the position tracking issue and the uncertainties in robotic manipulator application based on Xian ETAL 2019 and Trend, okay, et al. 2019. So you see, it's reliable. The information are reliable. Another gaps or another challenge that you already find from your journal paper, just now you read many papers, okay, a growing trend towards non-linear control strategies. That's the reason why the authors choose to go for the non-linear control strategies, because the flow, the literature tailored him or her to go to non-linear control strategies. So it's not you to say that, oh, I am interested on non-linear control strategies rather than linear. No. It's the literature that bring you to that trend. Okay, it's the literature review that bring you, that tailor you to choose what strategies that you are looking for. You see here, growing trend towards non-linear control strategies. That's one of the reasons he chose SMC. Okay, then the proposed solution here, you see, a new non-linear feedback control that can take account of the angular position tracking performance, because previously in the robot manipulator, they don't focus on the position tracking performance. They're not focusing on the angular position tracking performance. So this is one of the focus of the research. Okay, can take account of the angular position tracking performance, uncertainties, and the energy consumption for a multivariate system. Specifically, articulate robotic manipulator can be designed. That will be your objective number 1. Okay, I hope that is clear for you how you can bring the challenge, the problem from the previous articles until you can find the proposed solution as your objective. Okay, and again, don't overclaim. Okay, say for example, in this case, you said that you want to can take account, okay, you want to take account of the angular position tracking performance, uncertainties, another matter, and energy consumption. So three important point that you want to highlight in this case. So make sure in the result you show the uncertainties, the angular position tracking performance, and also the energy consumption. You need to show all the results because you already claimed the objective. If you don't want to achieve, if you cannot achieve the uncertainties, it's good for you to remove from the objective. Otherwise, the panel will look for the, okay, can you show me the uncertainties result that you mentioned that already improved from the previous method. Okay, that's why the reason when you claim, you make sure that you show the contribution, the result. Otherwise, just remove from the objective. Okay, the second one is the second problem statement, okay, from the papers, as you can see. Okay, most of the conventional optimal control techniques are sensitive to uncertainties or need an adequate system model. So this has been claimed by these papers. You see, and then they find robust feedback control consume high energy consumption. This has been claimed from this journal paper. That comes to the proposed solution. The proposed nonlinear feedback control is expected to achieve a satisfactory, robust, angular position tracking performance under the presence of the system uncertainties with minimum energy consumption. So you should show the minimum energy consumption that you obtain from the result. That will be objective number 2, for example, or maybe combination of objective number 1. Depends. Okay, usually for PhD or master by research, we have 3 objective. Okay, basically we derive 3 objective. And so forth. You can go for another gap and challenge. Okay, feedback control strategies also may have a trade-off between the accuracy and the overshoot of the system response. This has been claimed by these papers. Okay, and most of the feedback control strategies have many tunable parameters. Okay, all right. So this is basically the proposed solution based on this problem or research gap that you already found from the previous literature. So I hope that you can do the same so that you are clear with what you are doing at the end of the literature review part. Okay. So by that, thank you very much, okay, for your attention. So maybe I open to any question. Okay, if you have many questions from the literature review part, okay, let me stop sharing to show. Okay. Abdul Gadir, Ramada. So if you have any questions, you can highlight. So now it's already 3:40 p.m. We have another hours, half an hours to go.
Assalamu alaikum, Doctor.
Waalaikumsalam. Yeah.
As you said in the Q2, we required some 100 references.
You mean for the review paper?
For the review paper, yes, Doctor.
Okay. Usually, we have many type of review paper. For high impact review paper, minimum is 100 papers in order for you to publish.
Okay, but when I see the Q2 indexing paper, there are only some around 50 to 60 papers as references.
Yeah, so that's why.
And it comes under Q2.
Usually when I submit to review paper, okay, for high impact journal paper, that is basically recommendation so that you have enough one of the rule that they basically write in the journal paper criteria, one of the criteria journal. So for that Q2, what name of the journal? If you can name the journal, Ali?
IoT, based on IoT. I just forget. If I open the paper, I can tell you. But Doctor, what my question is there any requirement for UTM for review paper? There should be around 100 or it can be 60 or 50?
Usually, okay. Long time ago, and when I talk about review paper, some of them mention 70 is enough. Okay, 70, for example, is good enough already. But some of the very, very good journal paper, they claim that we want to have 100 at least. But you can actually try to submit because in the journal criteria, they didn't mention the numbers of the paper. Okay, they didn't mention. The most important is because in my case, usually when I try to submit to journal, I will make sure that my list of the journal is about 100 paper minimum. I will try to show, even though the journal didn't mention that you need to have 100 papers. Okay, like you mentioned just now, is about 50 only. Okay,
yes.
But transaction, basically they will have even 200, okay, 150, for example, if you go for the journal transaction, depends on the journal. But if you manage to get only 60 or 70, you can try actually. But just to make sure that when you publish to journal review paper, make sure that the at least 30% is the current current knowledge, current article.
Okay.
At least 30%. Okay, to make
Thank
sure
you,
that
doctor.
you're actually have a good information on that knowledge, basically.
Okay,
Okay.
doctor. Thank you.
Yeah, but please try to do that. The review paper is good basically because you are doing that. You know, to do the literature review is not that easy. That's I showed you just now. Okay, in order to find the gap, it's not that easy because you need to understand the flow, the state of the art from the early of the problem of the case that you want to focus on. So is that not easy? But just to understand, I will share the slide. Okay, just go through. Okay, how we can focus. Okay, in this case, it's about control system. I don't know how many of you are doing. Basically, Ali, what you're doing for your research, Ali Ahmed?
Yes.
What you're doing for your
Uh,
research? Your communication or what?
I am communication
Oh,
engineer.
okay.
Yes.
Mm-mm. Okay.
I'm doing PhD in IoT, security of IoT.
Oh, okay. Most of your communication, of course, they are doing IoT. And
But I have one question.
yeah,
One question, doctor. I
yeah.
have one question.
Mhm.
Regarding to the review paper. Okay. More than 100 paper for the reviewed paper. But what about plagiarism of the paper? What is the percentage that can be accepted?
Can be accepted, you mean?
Yeah, the percentage of
Right.
plagiarism.
Okay. Review.
Because already it is related work. It is not my contribution. It is already history of the research.
Yeah, that's sure. Correct. Okay, Ali, thank you for your
Yeah.
highlight. Okay, as Ali said, you are new researcher, for example. You are not doing
Yeah.
you don't have any result yet to have the result. Okay, because you are new researcher. So remember, when I say that literature review, you basically criticized other people's work. You're trying to summarize others people's work, which is all of the researcher is actually looking for that information. They're actually trying to understand the journal from journal to one journal. But you're trying to make ease for that research. You know, you're trying to summarize, you're trying to categorize the information, which is not that easy to do, to be done. Okay, so that's what this is your work, which is, as I said, Ali, you said in this case, I'll show you this. Yeah, I show you this.
Because now I start to categorize. It depend on the research, virtual or physical research, the area of research. What is the type like this, and I start to make the table to categorize the paper.
Yes.
After I read the paper, I make the summary of the paper, and then I would put it in the table.
Yeah. What you're trying to do is you summarize the paper. Okay, you summarize the paper and then you highlight the advantage of the method, the disadvantage of the method, the limitation of the method. So all of them need to be summarized. You need to do critical analysis, not wrongly to mention about the methods, because that method already done by the previous research.
Yeah.
Okay, you have to be careful.
Okay.
The fact that you
That means deep study.
yeah, instead
I
of
need
the
deep
art,
study.
yeah, instead of the art of the research work that you're trying to do. Okay,
Okay.
actually you try to gather all the information in one paper. You see, you try to gather the information in one paper. Otherwise, people
Okay.
have to go the paper from one to one paper. 10 paper they have to refer. But by referring to your paper, your review paper that you already summarize all of them, that make your contribution. That is
Okay.
review paper. Okay, that is review paper. All right.
Okay.
And
All right.
again, okay, your supervisor's name is very important because they already expert in that particular field. That to put
Yes.
the trust when you submit the review paper. Because our name, for example, as a student is a young researcher, for example. Is not basically that's why when you read the review paper, basically from the expert that they already long time ago they already focus on that particular field, not the first time they go for that and then they write the review paper. No, that's why you're sharing the name with your supervisor's name, right? So basically the review paper was written by the expert on that particular field. That's why they can do summarize, they can do analysis, and discuss the method well.
Okay. Okay.
Okay.
Thank you.
Yeah.
Thank
You
you.
can discuss
That's
with
clear.
your supervisor later.
Assalamualaikum, bro.
Yeah.
Hello, bro.
Reza.
Yeah. I have some question, bro. In your previous slide, you mentioned about how to build the research gap in the table, right?
Okay. All right.
Okay. You have you show us the table have the author, the contribution, advantage and disadvantages, right?
Yes.
Okay, and then how you want to extract? Usually in the paper, the author will not mention their disadvantages, right?
If you
Sometimes,
if you
yes,
go to
and
good paper, they will that's why I said that that's why most of the peer reviewed paper Q1 Q2 they will mention basically the limitation of the research.
okay, understand.
Yeah, but if you go to Scopus paper, of course they didn't mention about the limitation. They just go for the good, the advantage of the research work.
Usually, where is the location of the limitation, bro? Is it in the abstract, in the introduction, or in the conclusion?
In the abstract, no, usually in the conclusion.
Usually in the conclusion.
Yeah, usually in the conclusion.
Is it correct my understanding? From the disadvantages, and then you will build your gap. Is it correct, bro?
Yes, correct.
Okay, bro. Okay, thank you very much. That's all.
Okay, when you read the paper, okay, remember that you have to read 100 papers, and of course we are not going to read 100 papers, is it? So that's why I just trying to give you some, kind of, because when you look at the thesis, for example, we have 100 or maybe 150 references, not to say that all 150 we actually read or go through. Some of the paper we look at the title and then we cited. That's why I said that the most that we cited is basically 10 to 15 papers that we showed during the defense. That one is basically really we focus on. The rest is just related to that. Okay, so that's why you don't have to spend many time. Usually, okay, you go to the Google or maybe you go to Scopus database, for example, and then you want to go to in glance. Just read the abstract is good enough. Good paper, okay, that's why I said that good paper, high impact paper in the abstract will contain everything. Okay, in the abstract will have the research motivation, they will have the problem statement, the research methodology in flow, okay, and then they will have the result in the abstract only enough for you to go through. You don't have to go into detail for the paper. Don't wasting your time. Okay, otherwise the paper is really interest you. Then you will go page by page. Otherwise, you just go in a glance. Okay, just read the abstract. That's why I said that if you go to very high impact journal, the abstract already enough information for you to go through. Okay, so you have to be smart when you are doing the literature review. Otherwise, you keep frustrating because you don't understand what you're actually reading. So I don't want you to go to that level. Okay, because it is not worth to go to that level. Okay, you go through the papers and then you don't understand, and then you get frustrated because you think it's very difficult. Okay, actually the method is not correct. Okay, you just go to the abstract, and the most important is focus on the high impact journal. Okay, the first year of study when you're looking for the problem statement. Okay, remember my say, okay, go to the high impact journal when you focus for the problem statement until you can find the research gap.
What about the conclusion?
Okay, some of the journals, even though high impact journal is difficult to go through for the abstract, for example, then you can slightly go to the conclusion. Okay, usually the conclusion will reflect to the abstract. Okay, your conclusion will reflect to the abstract. You just go to the conclusion, and then if you think that the paper related to you, then the conclusion also doesn't give you any ideas. You can go in brief the content of the paper. Okay, so that's how. And I believe that not all the papers you don't understand, right? Basically, if that is your research area, so it's easier for you to go through. If that is research area. Okay.
Assalamualaikum, Doctor.
Yeah, Waalaikumsalam.
Okay, thank you.
Okay, for my question, first of all, thank you for the very clear and inspiring presentation.
Thank you.
And for my question, because I think there is some
term going around that is quite confusing me. It's about the gap part. I've been hearing terms like weak gap and strong gap, or maybe this is only application. Do you have any comment about this, Doctor?
Okay, so basically your concern is about research gap, right?
Yes, correct, Doctor.
Okay, I was just trying to go through to the slide for this. Okay, all right. For this one, can you see my slide?
Not yet, Doctor. I think
No.
you're not sharing the slide.
All right, all right. Sure. Okay, if I can go back to here. Has it entered in?
Hazwan, Doctor.
Has one, has it? Okay, so if your case has one, okay, first you need to define what is the area that you actually go through. Okay, in this case, I give information for PV system, okay, photovoltaic system. Okay,
Okay.
if I can know that what is the area of your study, Hazwan?
Soft robotics, Doctor.
Soft robotics. Okay, you're looking for soft robotic system. So first in soft robotic system, what is basically the significant highlight problem that they actually trying to go through for the soft robotic system?
The position control, Doctor.
Position control. Okay, I think it's similar, almost similar to the one that I showed you just now, right? This one. Oh, sorry. This one is also about robotics manipulator. Okay. In your case, it's soft
Yes.
robotic, Hazwan.
Yes, true, Doctor.
Okay. So in your case, it's soft robotic system. Okay, related to that robotics applications as well. So you are looking for the control system, Hazwan?
Yeah. Because I always hear, because for soft robotic, I think there's a lot of new emerging actuators from soft actuators. So a lot of the emerging actuators, they don't have yet a control strategy. So I always hear that if you want to use a type of control strategy that hasn't been used, then that is only an application,
I think
or maybe a weak gap.
I think your word is simply like the one that I showed you this here, Hazwan. You see, you need to actually can somebody mute the audio, please? Okay, somebody please mute the video. Because too many students. So no, I don't. Okay, Hazwan, your case is soft robotic system. Okay, as you can see that you have to also investigate the existing control strategies for the soft robotic system.
Okay, yes, Doctor, I'm doing that.
I think MPC is one of them. In the because I believe that you were involved with the constraint later on.
Come again, Doctor.
Constraint in your application.
Because the soft actuator that I'm doing now is recently developed in 2013. So not a lot of control strategies were applied already. I always hear when I want to use a certain type of control strategy, and then usually people say that this is application, so it's a weak gap. So I was thinking if you have any comment on this.
Yeah, what means by I think what they meant basically, because that is a new application. Usually, the new application they focus on the design, improve the design.
Yes.
Okay, usually for the new application and for your information for the rest of you as well, if you are doing something which is new application, they basically focus on the improved design. Okay, rather than they go for the next following task like control application, because control application basically we focus on control application when the system is already established. Okay, when the system is already established, then we can focus on the control system application. Because
Yes.
now I believe that soft actuator, soft robotics basically is quite new. Okay.
Yes, true. True, doctor. The actuator that I'm using in Web of Science only have about 30 plus journals right now, and most of them are experimental or maybe or development of new new applications.
Okay, so what I can propose to you, Hazwan, maybe you can discuss with your supervisor later on. You
Okay.
already have the experiment system, right? You have the system, right? What you can do is,
Yes, sir.
yeah, what you can do is trying to develop the simple control design first, like PID. Okay, like PID, because that is the most simple to be developed. Okay, and then once you develop the PID, then you can focus on the advanced control system.
Okay, doctor. My direction also right now. Thank you very much, doctor.
Okay, because why I'm proposing PID, because PID is the most established control algorithm and is the most easier to be implemented for the real-time implementation. Okay, it's worth to implement for PID. Later, when you have done the PID, then you can compare with the advanced control method. Okay, like MPC. Okay, Hazwan, in your case, I think MPC is one of good method as well, because soft actuator very close related to the constraint method. Okay, constraint method. So handling the constraint for the the actuator itself, even though for soft actuator, the actuator itself is very related to the constraint handling. So I believe that you need to include the constraint in your work later. So MPC will encounter the problem, means that when you compare with the PID, okay, the MPC will give you good control comparison later. Okay.
Okay. Thank you very much, doctor.
Okay, thank you.
Very clear. Thank you very much.
All right.
Assalamualaikum.
Waalaikumsalam. Yes.
Dr. Nur Halisa. Apakah?
Yeah.
Yeah, actually, I have two questions. So hopefully I can get your leniency. So one question is about the reference. So some supervisors ask their students to cite the latest papers, I mean, no more than 5 years. You can hear me? Hello? You can hear me?
Yes, yes.
Oh, sorry, I'm muted. Okay, yes, I can hear you.
Okay, so my question is, sometimes the researcher is forced to put important citations such as definition, laws, and general information. So these citations are taken from paper published, for example, 10 years ago. So is it okay, or must all reference should be no more than 5 years? So I hope you get my questions.
Okay, I just repeat your question. Okay, so basically your question is you want to have the current journal paper, right? Your supervisor asked you to cite it for the past 3 years journal.
Yes, 5 years, no more 5 years. The reference must be.
Yeah, that's why I said that. Previously, we actually always mention to student for the previous 5 years, but very current. Okay, we mentioned to student for the previous 3 years, but it's still it's basically it's still fine with the past 5 years papers. But for my case, usually for my student, I always mention to student that you please go to the past 3 years paper at least. Okay, why I constrain to past 3 years papers, because I want to say we want to highlight that the problem is very significant and very current knowledge. Okay, but if the students cannot manage to do that, then I will allow them to go to the previous past 5 years usually.
Okay. So I have another questions about the specific form named examiner's report on first assignments. I think you know this form.
Examiner's report. Oh, you already go for the first defense?
No, not yet, but just I have a look and just do some review.
Okay. Oh, you
I
got
got
the
some.
form earlier.
Yes, yes. I like to do that. So I got some titles or gaps in this form. So I got title of research proposal, research problem, research objective and questions, research scope, significance of study, and the lecture review. So my questions, so I understand all these gaps that must be filled up by students, but that's one, the lecture review, I'm confused about it. So what should I write, fill up this?
Wait, which one you confused?
The lecture review gap. I mean the lecture
The literature review gap, you mean?
in this form, in the same form. What should I write?
I think that's meant by research gap as well.
You mean you must write the research gap?
Yeah, research gap as well. The form written is literature review gap, you mean?
Just they mention it, literature review.
Oh, okay, literature review. Okay, so that is the report that you have to submit, right?
Yeah, the form.
No, yeah, the form, but you need to submit the report. Okay, for the defense.
It's actually the report, right? You are right.
Yeah. You in the defense, okay, for third semester defense, you need to submit the report in chapter.
Yeah, but what should I write in this lecture review? In this report?
Progress report.
Should I summarize? I mean, summarize the lecture review, or what should I write?
You don't have to summarize the literature review. Just submit the literature review that you have done.
Yeah, but there is a gap in this form.
At the end of the literature review, there is a subsection that you can summarize the research gap.
Research gap. Do you mean I should write the research gap?
Yeah. In the literature review, okay, there is a section like introduction, and then you have the modeling, for example, review on the control design, for example. At the end of the section under literature review, you can mention research gap section.
Yes, you talk about the proposal, right?
Yeah, you can mention research gap at the end of the literature review.
Yeah, but I'm talking about the report form.
Yeah.
They mentioned it in the last they mentioned lecture review. They put the gaps that must students fill.
We cannot hear, please. There is.
Yeah, we cannot hear you. But okay, whatever, Ali. Okay. For the defense, okay, Ali, for the defense, usually you have to submit the report. Okay, the report.
Can you mute all, please, Doctor?
Yeah. The report start with the abstract. Ali just now, okay? Maybe some of you can mute. Okay, the report start with the abstract writing. Okay, when you submit for the defense, yes, the report will start with the abstract writing, with the title first, of course, the title and your supervisor's name and so forth, and then we'll start with the abstract writing. Okay, after the abstract, then you have the introduction chapter, and all the components must be there as mentioned in the form. Okay, and one of them is literature review chapter. Okay, so in the literature review chapter, usually what you can do is basically at the end of the section for literature review, before conclusion, you can write the research gap, showing that the research gap that you have done, okay, while doing the literature review. Okay, you can summarize the research gap in that chapter. So that's usually been done because the panel will always asking for the research gap. They cannot find the gap while you are doing the literature review. They just read like a flow, okay, the flow of the idea, but didn't find the gap. Okay, usually we will summarize the gap at the end of the chapter for the literature review, and the rest just go for the conclusion as usual. Okay, after literature review, I'm not sure the research methodology is already in the part and for the project.
والله أنا بالنسبة لي معي.
Depends on the format. If you already have the format, if they request for the item, then you have to follow. Okay, I think research methodology probably, but the most important is literature review. During defense, the most important is literature review and the gap. And again, the problem statement, yes, the problem statement, the research objective must be very clear, defined, clearly defined, okay, during defense. Okay, as mentioned.
Okay. Let me maybe you misunderstand me. You can hear me now.
I could hear, but it's a bit lousy. It's a bit noisy.
Noisy?
Yeah. Okay, you can talk now.
Yeah. There is a specific form called examiner's report of assignment. This form has some gaps. Okay, has a title of proposal must be filled up by students. Research problem and research objective.
Yeah.
The last gap, the last options is literature review. Okay, so what should I write in this gap, in this form?
No, I'm not sure about the form because usually my student.
Doctor,
yeah.
Can you ask Faisal to mute the microphone? Faisal.
Faisal, can you switch off your microphone? Faisal, Fazil. Okay. All right, Akram, just now, I'm not sure the form because usually when my student goes to defense on the third semester, okay, because maybe as a supervisor, we just read for the report, and for the form is during the Viva's pre-defense session. But usually what I focus on the report is in the literature review part, I will always ask my student to define the research gap. Okay, to define the research gap in the report. I'm not sure about the form that you talk about just now, Akram. I'm not sure about the form. Yeah, the form usually will be written by the panel. They will basically, jot down the marks or anything they want to write based on your report, by the way. Okay, it will based on your report writing. Okay, the form. Okay, not the student to fill in the form. You just fill in the form. I think you just fill in your name and so forth. But the one that you have to submit is the report. The most important is the report. Okay?
Okay, thank you.
Akram, all right.
Okay, sir.
Okay, we already 4:10. Any more question from the rest of you about literature review? And especially the most important is the research gap. I hope that you already have the ideas, okay, among of you, okay, about the research that you are actually doing, especially literature review, okay, of course. All right, either you're doing PhD or master by research.
Doctor, you will share us the slides.
Yeah, sure. I will share the slide after this. The office will share the record session as well as the slide. Okay, I hope that the slide will benefit you a lot, especially for those who are doing now. Okay, still not clear with the literature review. Okay,
Doctor, it will be on e-learning,
they will email to all students, postgraduate students.
Okay, nice. Okay, nice. Thank
Just
you so
make
much.
sure you're okay. I will make sure that Puan Rohaya will email to all students for those. For those
Doctor,
who yeah.
Doctor,
I have a question.
Yeah.
I have one question. I need to ask about something like chapters of thesis. Like as you showed, I think first chapter is introduction, next chapter literature review and methodology, and results and analysis is the fourth chapter. But we can add more chapters.
Here is it? Can you see my share slide?
Yes, I saw
Okay, this is the this is just for example. Okay, we basically have the minimum of 5 chapters: introduction, literature review, research methodology, results and discussion, and conclusion and recommendation. These are compulsory, but you can have more. Okay, usually some student will have 6 chapter. Why? Because they will they will break this into 2 chapter for research methodology.
Like first objective is chapter
No.
4 and chapter
Okay,
5
the first remains introduction. The second also remains as literature review. But those who are doing the simulation part only, for example, okay, this one I'll show you the example of research methodology because this student, basically my student, they are doing the experimental part. So they will explain all the experimental part in the research methodology, and the preliminary result from the experimental part will be on the research methodology chapter. You see,
Okay,
because
Prof, like we have 3 objectives. It means we can divide in 3 chapters.
no, please no. I hope that's only 2 chapter at least. Probably you can discuss with your supervisor. It depends on the area of the study. But basically, this is the basic. Research methodology can be break into 2, or maybe if you say you want to have 3, then you can have 3. But please, okay, I will just mention that the more chapters you have, the more question will be raised out.
Okay, I'm just asking about maximum possibilities just now.
Okay. So I was just trying to make it easy for all students, okay? Because when you write more, the more will be raised up, okay? So basically, either you have research methodology or you can break into 2 chapter in this case. Like my area of study, or maybe in electrical power, usually we have modeling and control design. So you can break into modeling chapter 3 modeling part, and then chapter 4 control design part. And then you can have 4 result discussion, and the rest will be conclusion and recommendation.
Okay.
That's
Thanks,
one
Prof.
of the example, okay? You can discuss with your supervisor. But at least usually 5 to 6 chapters. 5 to 6 chapters is good enough.
Doctor,
Yeah.
regarding to attendance, the name is only enough, or you need also the metric number?
Yeah.
Name is enough for attendance. Name only, the full name.
Sorry, because sorry, Ali, can you just
For regarding to the attendance, the full name is enough, or you want a metric number?
no, full name is enough.
Okay, thank you.
Okay, all right, thank you. Okay, so now already 4:15. Okay, so if no question, I think we can probably end the session, and you can refer to my slide. Of course, you can refer to my slide, and I hope that the slide can help you, for you to proceed with the literature review. And I hope that everything will ease for you. All of you here, please join the literature review session. Everything will be easy for your literature review, and so also for your PhD and master by research. I hope so, inshallah. Okay, so if there's no question, maybe we can end the session, and I will share the slide. Of course, I will share the slide with all of you through the office, Puan Ruhaya. If you cannot find the slide, you can contact Puan Ruhaya after that. Okay, maybe Puan Ruhaya will collect all the slide and will email all of them to students by the end of this week, I think. All right?
Okay. And also you share your email?
Sorry?
Your email will be shared, also your email?
My email, usually office will email direct to the students.
Okay.
Okay, all right.
Okay.
So by that, thank you very much for your attention, and hope to see you again. All right. Hope everyone in a good health, everybody.
Same to you.
Thank you. See you.
السلام عليكم. السلام عليكم.
السلام عليكم.
Thank you.
Thank you. السلام عليكم.
You doctor. Thank you.
दाल है